able to watch any of this one. I haven't seen. There's no sort of crowd figure in the match report, and but it looks like over the piece, Oldham were the stronger side. So well done to them.
Yeah.
They finished higher up, didn't they, in the table? So that's over the whole year they've been the better side. But Newcastle were a side that were promising something, and they've not delivered, have they?
No, I thought that they might do, but yeah, as you say, they haven't.
Okay, well done to Oldham. Such a weird situation that they're saying goodbye to their coach who's got them promoted.
Yeah.
but there you go. Such are things sometimes. Women's Super League. Do you want to take us through the results in the Women's Super League?
Yes. So it finished Castleford 34, Wigan 4, and St Helens 14, Leeds 18.
Yeah, the Leeds St Helens game was very exciting, and I think Castleford were always expected to win against Wigan. In the last 20 minutes they pulled away as the better side there, but this Saints women's side have really caught the bug that the men's side have had for so many years. They just can't get past a semi.
Yep, it's a problem, isn't it?
But Leeds are they're going to be confident going up against Castleford, given that they've taken them on a couple of times in big finals recently. But yeah, do try and find. I think you can get the footage up on the Rugby Football League website of that Leeds Rhinos finish against the St Helens side, because it was very exciting for definite. Okay, into the NRL Grand Final. What happened there, Sarah?
In the NRL Grand Final, it finished the Roosters 14, the Raiders 8.
Yeah, we got some fan views in on this one. At Mike Dodd 22 said, "First things first, it was a great game. But even from the first exchanges where the charge down kick hit the Roosters trainer to prevent a certain try for Whitehead, it just seemed like the luck was going to go Sydney's way. Happened late on too, with the refs changing their mind on a repeat set."
Tom Andrews said, "Can you imagine the Raiders fans feel somewhat salty with that one? Both Roosters tries coming off questionable things. Still an enjoyable game till the end."
David Lorrow said, "When is another set of six actually another set of six? Desperate for Canberra."
EFC 78JU said, "What a win for the Roosters, back-to-back NRL rings."
Yes, it's no mean feat as well, because it's the first time that an NRL side since that competition started in '98 has gone back-to-back, so worthy of credit. Roger the Cabin Boy said, "Nice to see our refs aren't as bad as the NRL refs." So I know you didn't get to catch this one on Sunday morning, Sarah, but just to put you in the picture, there was two major moments in this game that went against the Green Machine of Canberra, and pretty much all the British fans were rooted for the Raiders, with Hodgson, Whitehead, and John Bateman kind of having them covered across the range of the M62, really, there, weren't they, with that trip?
Yeah.
So we all wanted the Raiders to win. And pretty early on, I think third or fourth set of the game, in fact, the Raiders charged down a kick from the Roosters in the middle of the field. The charge down cannoned back about 15 metres. The only player who was going to have a chance of picking that up was going to be Elliot Whitehead. Whether any of the speedsters from the Roosters backline could turn around fast enough and catch him up fast enough, I don't know. But luckily for the Roosters, it hit their trainer, who inexplicably needed to be on the field after only 4 sets of play. And so because it hit the trainer, it was a scrum, and because the charge down isn't considered taking over possession of the ball, the side with possession of the ball at the time of the hitting the trainer was the Roosters, so they got a scrum in the middle of the pitch instead of the Raiders potentially having a try.
Yeah.
Which just seems daft, but it's the way the rules are. From that, the Roosters actually put together a nice set, got a repeat set from a clever kick, and then scored on that next set. So they had the lead then, and then they just defended and defended and defended and defended. The Raiders did get back into it with a Jack Whiten try when he took on the line and actually broke through the defensive line of the Roosters. But most of the pattern of the game after the first half an hour was the Raiders with the ball in good field position, struggling to break down a very, very good Roosters defensive line. Then I'm going to have to get the match report up to remind myself exactly when it happened in the game. But late on in the game, the try was scored in the 73rd minute, and it came a couple of sets after this. So the Raiders were in attacking position. They'd had a try chalked off not long before for a forward pass. It was a forward pass. It was poor attacking execution, just let themselves down at that time. But they had a attacking set. They put up a high kick. Their player, I think it might have been Whitehead actually, jumped up and won the ball and knocked it back. But one of the two referees, the one behind the play, behind the defensive line, rather than behind the attacking side, waved 6 to go. So for a moment, the Raiders would have thought they had another six tackles up the sleeve. They actually corrected the call, and you could see and hear them correcting the call as the play went on. The Raiders, one of the forwards from the Raiders took a charge up and then threw a very speculative offload that he wouldn't have thrown if he thought it was 6 to go. So he must have known that the call had gone back to still the last tackle. But Jack Whiten hasn't realised this. He's taken a carry in and got tackled and thought, well, I can get up and play the ball. But in all of the wash of that, it had been given correctly as last tackle still, after the mistake of saying it was 6 to go. And it just... I think the Raiders were still recovering from that when the Roosters, the next attacking set, went all the way up the middle of the field and then and had a really good break. Then the next possession after that, they found themselves in a good position as well. Really good piece of attacking play down the blind side, taking advantage of some tired bodies out of position a bit for the Raiders. For James Tedesco, who Dally M, so player of the year, he was the player of the series in the Origin series as well. He scored a very similar try to steal the Origin series, actually backing up on the inside, but a great piece of play from the Roosters, and they went on to win it. Yeah,
I've heard quite a bit about that, and I think, like you were saying, the other team, that they're still reeling, aren't they? They're not quite sure what happened.
Yeah, and Jack Whiten actually won the Clive Churchill medal as the man of the match, and so no one's putting this on him, what happened in that occasion. And I wanted the Raiders to win, Sarah. I really, really did want the Raiders to win.
Yeah.
But I've got to put it on Jack Whiten a bit, because other players on his team had realised it was the last tackle still, but he hadn't.
No.
But it was a big moment. They'd attacked and just not been able to. The Roosters were amazingly resilient in defence. I'd have given man of the match to Brett Morris, probably. Is that the right Morris? Because there's two of them. There's twins in there. To Brett Morris on the wing, because they, instead of kicking to the tall, rangy Tupu, they kicked all the kicks to Brett Morris's wing, and he dealt with them all so well. Against a really good kick chase on that side as well, with Whitehead and Croker and Cottridge for the Raiders. So I'd have given it to him, because he just symbolised the defensive resolve that the Roosters had and won this game as a result of it, really. So back-to-back premiers, the Sydney Roosters.
It's a shame, isn't it, that on both sides of the world so far the biggest matches have had massive referee talking points.
It is, definitely it is. I think no one who's watched both of those games, though, would say that the team that won didn't deserve to win.
Yeah. And
very different ways, but let's hope there's not the same next week, eh?
Yeah.
We've got one chance left.
Yeah, and actually, at least from the British point of view, it shows that two referees isn't the solution. That they can still make, mistakes can still happen despite there being two referees.
Oh, right, yeah, of course, yeah. Well, it's humans out there, isn't there? There was mistakes from probably all 34 players and all 4 match officials at some point during the event. I'm more annoyed at the trainer in the first half than I am at the mix-up with the ref's call in the second half, if I'm completely honest, because there's no reason for that trainer to be on the pitch at that stage. No player was going off. No player was injured.
Well, but I say this week in, week out at Super League. You know, I mean, the amount of time that Sean Long or whoever it is, the Saints trainer at the minute, spends on the pitch, it's more time than half the prop forwards.
Yeah, Gleeson used to do it a lot for Salford as well, didn't he? And that's just the two grand final sides for balance there, because it happens across the board, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I can't remember. There was one team we were playing, and honestly, he was calling all the players and everything else.
Well, when you watch Alfie Langer, when you watch a Brisbane game, he's never off the pitch. It feels like.
And you know, if you've got extra people on the pitch, then these things are going to happen every now and again. But either that, or you know, someone makes a break and trainer's in the way, or whatever.
Yeah, there was an instance in a game, I think, where a trainer was coming on to look after an injury and a ball nearly hit them recently. I can't remember which game it was, but that's slightly different. At least there was a reason for them to be on the bloody pitch.
Yeah.
Whereas there was no reason whatsoever. There was no break in play. There was no players limping. There was no chance of a substitution. You know, there was no reason to be on the pitch, basically.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but anyway, well done to the Roosters and to Trent Robinson and James Tedesco and all of those. And Ryan Hall got plenty involved in the celebrations, congratulating all his teammates. He unfortunately didn't make the game, but it looks like he might make some England games. So in the nines, so there you go. Yep. Okay, it's now time that we look ahead and make our predictions for the two remaining big fixtures of the season, the Super League Grand Final and the Women's Super League Grand Final. Predictions time then, Sarah, and let's actually flip it round and do it as the games are going to happen, and let's do the Women's Super League Grand Final first, because that's happening on Friday night at Langtree Park. I think it's unfortunate for the crowd figure, maybe, that St Helens aren't going to be in that side, but hopefully Castleford and Leeds fans travel over in big numbers. I'm going to do my best to get to the game after work. It's a 7:30 kickoff, not the normal 7:45 that we're used to, so just to flag that out for people, that is a 7:30 kickoff for the Women's Super League Grand Final. Castleford, who've been the standout side all year long in the league competition, won the league leaders, of course, against the team that won the other trophy for grabs so far this season, the Challenge Cup, in the Leeds Rhinos, who overcomes away at St Helens in both the semi-finals for that Challenge Cup and for this Grand Final. So they'll go into the rematch of the Challenge Cup final very confident. I find it really hard to pick this game. I don't know how much, because obviously Hull FC aren't in the Super League yet, are they? They're lower down the structure, so I'm not sure how much familiarity you've got with these. Do you have a particular one that you're going to plump for?
I'm going to go for Cass.
I'm
going to back them to overcome the cup final.
Yeah, I'm struggling. I think there's some players in their side that could have their best game of the season, and they still might fall short. This is because there's just some players in that Leeds side who know how to get these things done in these occasions. It was a bit of a dodgy call that gave Leeds the win at Bolton, so I'm going to go for Cass to overcome that. The winning try wasn't dodgy.
Was that the one under the sticks? I can't remember what score it finished, but there was the one where the Leeds player was tackled into touch and it wasn't given, and then they went the length of the field and scored.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, the other end of the field it was. Yeah, I remember it now. Yeah, good point. And that was a very close game, wasn't it? A very good game.
It was a good game.
I'm going to edge. Do you know what? I want Cass to win. They've topped the table all year. They've been quite exciting. They've scored a lot of points. I'm going to go Castleford with you.
Okay.
It's a coin toss though a bit, but good luck to both sides. You can watch it, of course, on Sky Sports. Those who can't make their way over to the Totally Wicked
and that's
stadium.
exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. You know, when you consider the competition's got a sponsor now, the Woman of Steel Award has a sponsor. The